If you're a man over 60, here's the truth no one has ever told you. The reason you feel weaker in the mornings, the reason your energy fades before the day is over, and the reason your performance and drive are not what they used to be may have nothing to do with age at all. The real shock is this: your body isn't failing you, it's starving for the right fuel. And in most cases, it's missing just 5 simple fruits. My name is Dr. Mohit Kara. I'm a professor of urology and men's health, and for more than 30 years I've sat across from men just like you. Men who believed their best years were behind them. Men who came to me tired, frustrated, and ready to give up. And I've had the privilege of showing them that decline after 60 is not destiny. When you know what to feed your body, vitality can return at any age. Now here's the paradox. Most men your age are taking pills, injections, or expensive supplements that promise miracles but deliver disappointment. Meanwhile, the very things that can restore blood flow, balance hormones, spark energy, sharpen the brain, and even bring confidence back in the bedroom are sitting quietly in the fruit aisle. It sounds too simple to be true, and that's exactly why most men never discover it. But today, I'll reveal 5 essential fruits that can reignite your strength, your energy, and your vitality in ways science has already proven. No gimmicks, no empty promises, just natural results your body remembers. And stay with me until the end, because I'll also share how these fruits work together as a powerful combination, and what changes you can expect in just 3 days, 7 days, and 15 days. This could be the turning point in the way you age. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future health advice designed especially for men over 60. And if you find this video helpful, type 1 in the comments to let me know. If it doesn't meet your expectations, type 0 and tell me what you'd like to see improved. Your feedback helps me create the content you truly need. Now let's begin with the very first fruit, one that has been celebrated for centuries as a symbol of strength and vitality. Modern science now confirms its power for men over 60. I'm talking about pomegranate, the circulation supercharger that restores blood flow and protects your prostate. 1. Pomegranate, the circulation supercharger. When I think about the men I've treated over the years, one story always comes back to me when I talk about circulation and vitality. His name was George, a 72-year-old retired teacher from Baltimore. He came into my office one gray morning, his posture slumped, his voice quiet, and he said the same words I have heard from countless men before him. "Doctor, I just don't feel like the man I used to be." What struck me most wasn't just his words, but the heaviness in his eyes. He had accepted that this decline in energy, strength, and confidence was simply part of aging, something irreversible. But what George didn't know, and what I want every man over 60 to hear, is that in many cases the issue isn't age itself, it's blood flow. The truth is that circulation is the lifeblood of your vitality. Every beat of your heart, every surge of confidence in the morning, every moment of intimacy you share, it all depends on healthy blood vessels and strong circulation. And this is where one simple fruit, the pomegranate, can completely change the game. Long regarded in ancient cultures as a symbol of fertility and vigor, pomegranate is now backed by powerful modern science that shows just how quickly it can help men restore what they thought was lost. Pomegranates are rich in polyphenols, plant compounds that act almost like fertilizer for your arteries. They nourish the inner lining of blood vessels, helping them relax and expand. When that happens, blood doesn't just trickle where it needs to go, it flows freely and with force. This is especially important for men after 60, because with age, arteries stiffen, nitric oxide levels fall, and the blood supply to vital areas decreases. That's when men notice slower mornings, weaker erections, and fading stamina. But here's the good news. Pomegranate directly boosts nitric oxide, the key molecule that relaxes your vessels and restores blood flow where it matters most. I'll never forget the look on George's face when I told him he didn't need a prescription or an injection to start feeling better. He needed fruit, real, natural fuel. I asked him to drink just 6 ounces of pure, unsweetened pomegranate juice every morning. Nothing fancy, nothing complicated. 2 weeks later, George walked back into my office a different man. His shoulders were lifted, his eyes brighter, And he even joked that his wife had been smiling at him differently lately. That wasn't magic. That was biology reawakened. And the science supports his story. A study from Johns Hopkins University showed that older men who drank pomegranate juice daily experienced measurable improvements in erection strength and stamina in just 2 weeks. Think about that. 2 weeks to feel noticeable change. Not months, not years. Just days of giving your body the natural support it was starving for. Another study from UCLA revealed that men over 60 who consumed pomegranate regularly had 37% fewer symptoms of benign prostatic hyperplasia, or enlarged prostate. That means fewer nighttime trips to the bathroom, deeper, more restorative sleep, and a calmer, healthier prostate over time. Beyond circulation and prostate health, pomegranate's antioxidants calm inflammation and reduce oxidative stress, two silent enemies of aging that slowly drain vitality. When those forces are eased, your body feels lighter, stronger, and younger from the inside out. Even the taste itself, refreshing, tart, and deeply satisfying, seems to remind men of something they had forgotten: that nourishment can be simple, natural, and profoundly effective. In my practice, I've watched men transform by making this one small change. They didn't need to overhaul their lives or chase complicated regimens. They needed to remember that nature already designed solutions perfectly suited for the aging male body. A glass of pomegranate juice in the morning, or even a handful of seeds sprinkled over breakfast, is enough to spark a shift you can feel in your energy, your posture, and your confidence. Gentlemen, circulation is the foundation. Without it, nothing else works. Not your hormones, not your energy, not your performance. That's why I call pomegranate the circulation supercharger. It restores the very flow that keeps you alive and strong. But circulation is only the beginning, because once your blood is moving freely again, your body needs the right fuel to rebuild hormones, fire up energy, and reignite the spark that age has tried to dim. And that's where our next fruit comes in. Creamy, green, and quietly one of the most powerful testosterone boosters you'll ever find. Curious? Let me show you why avocado may be the missing piece you never knew your body was waiting for. 2. Avocado, the testosterone booster. There is a certain kind of quiet frustration I often see in men after 60. They are not sick, they are not weak, but something inside of them feels dimmed, as if the spark that once drove them forward has faded. I remember Henry, a 68-year-old retired executive from Chicago. He had lived a disciplined life, worked hard, stayed active, and looked the part of a healthy man. But when he sat in my office, his voice was heavy. He said, "Doctor, I don't feel like a man anymore. My energy is gone, my motivation is slipping, and even my drive in the bedroom feels like a memory." It was not sadness I saw in his face. It was loss. The loss of something that gave his life force and direction. What Henry didn't know is what so many men don't realize. This feeling is not just about age. It is about testosterone. Testosterone is not merely a hormone. It is the essence of male vitality. It gives you the fire in your belly when you wake up in the morning ready to face the day. It carries the confidence in your voice, the strength in your handshake, and the passion that fuels your intimacy and your purpose. Yet after 60, testosterone levels naturally decline. And with that decline, men begin to feel invisible to themselves, less present, less alive. But here's the truth I tell my patients. Your body is not broken. It knows how to produce testosterone, but it needs the right building blocks to do so. And one of the most powerful, natural sources of those building blocks is a fruit many men overlook every day, the avocado. This creamy green fruit is packed with exactly what your body craves to restore hormonal balance. The healthy fats in avocado, specifically monounsaturated fats, are the raw material your body uses to create testosterone. Without enough of these good fats, your body simply cannot make the hormones it needs. Avocados are also rich in magnesium and zinc, two minerals that quietly play a central role in male hormone production. And there's something else, something many men never consider: vitamin B6. This vitamin, abundant in avocados, helps lower cortisol, the stress hormone that slowly suffocates testosterone over time. Lower cortisol means your body finally has room to let testosterone rise again. When Henry began adding half an avocado to his breakfast each morning, it wasn't long before he noticed a shift. Within a week, his energy lifted. He told me he felt more present in his conversations with his wife, more centered in his thoughts, and even more eager to tackle the small tasks that had been weighing him down. His sleep deepened, his mood brightened, and that spark he thought was gone forever began to flicker again. This was not magic. It was nourishment. His body had been waiting for the right signal, and avocado gave it. Science confirms what Henry experienced. A Mayo Clinic study found that men who ate avocado regularly saw an 18% increase in testosterone after just 6 weeks. That is not a supplement, not an injection, not an expensive treatment. It is a fruit, widely available, affordable, and delicious. This is what I love most about avocado. It does not require complicated preparation or exotic recipes. Slice it onto eggs, spread it on whole grain toast, or add it to a salad. Half a fruit a day is enough to fuel a profound shift in your biology. When I speak to men about testosterone, I always remind them that this is not about trying to be 25 again. It is about reclaiming the energy, confidence, and purpose that makes life worth living at 60, 70, or even 80. Testosterone is not youth. It is vitality, and it is within your reach in the most natural way possible. But hormones are only part of the story. To live with consistent drive and strength, your body also needs reliable snejishi, steady pai, endoshi niji. And that energy cannot come from coffee or sugar. It has to come from fuel that your cells can use every single day. That is where our next fruit comes in. It is simple, common, and often overlooked, but it is one of the best-kept secrets to stable energy and a sharper mood. Let's talk about the banana, the energy activator that can change how you feel from the moment you wake up. 3. Banana, the energy activator. There was a man I once met named Walter, a 73-year-old retired school principal from Atlanta. He had spent his life guiding children, standing tall as a leader in his community, but when he sat across from me in my office, his shoulders were slumped and his spirit seemed weighed down. He looked at me and said, "Doctor, I'm tired all the time. Not just tired in my body, but tired in my mind and my spirit. I wake up exhausted, and it follows me all day long." His words stayed with me because they carried something more than fatigue. They carried a sense of depletion, of being drained of the very force that keeps us moving forward. And what many men like Walter don't realize is that energy, true, cellular energy, doesn't just appear. After 60, the body demands steady support, the kind that can only come from the right nutrients. This is where one of the simplest, most overlooked fruits can make a profound difference: the banana. Many dismiss it as ordinary, but in reality, the banana is one of the most powerful activators of sustained energy that I've ever seen. It is loaded with potassium, magnesium, and B vitamins, 3 nutrients that quietly keep your body running like a well-tuned engine. Potassium helps relax blood vessels and supports healthy circulation. Magnesium powers your muscles and nervous system, and B vitamins are critical for converting the food you eat into usable energy. Together, they do far more than just prevent cramps or stabilize blood pressure. They feed your cells directly, giving your body the kind of fuel that doesn't spike and crash, but flows consistently throughout the day. When I asked Walter about his mornings, he admitted he often skipped breakfast or grabbed a piece of toast before rushing on with his day. His body, already struggling to produce steady energy at his age, was being asked to run on fumes. I suggested something remarkably simple. Start each morning with a banana, paired with a little protein like peanut butter and a glass of water. Within just a few days, Walter told me he felt a shift. "I don't just have more energy," he said. "I feel steady, like I'm not crashing halfway through the morning anymore." His wife later told me that he seemed brighter, more engaged, more himself. That was the power of one small fruit, eaten consistently and with intention. Science echoes Walter's experience. Researchers at Harvard found that older men who ate bananas regularly reported a 27% boost in energy, particularly during the first 4 hours of the day, when many men experience their most dramatic crashes. Imagine reclaiming that morning spark, feeling steady and strong instead of drained and sluggish. It is not a dream. It is biology responding to the right input. What I love most about bananas is their practicality. No complex recipes, no complicated preparation, just peel and eat. They digest easily, making them ideal for men who struggle with heavy foods in the morning. They provide tryptophan, an amino acid that boosts serotonin, lifting mood and calming the mind. And they help regulate blood sugar, preventing the highs and lows that leave you feeling jittery one moment and lifeless the next. For men over 60, consistency is everything, and one banana a day is one of the most reliable habits you can build to restore that consistency. I've seen men transform not by overhauling their entire lives, but by making small, powerful changes they can stick with. The banana is one of those changes. It is humble, affordable, available year-round, and it speaks directly to what your aging body needs most. Reliable energy that supports not only movement and strength, but also clarity of thought, emotional steadiness, and yes, even performance in the moments that matter. Energy is the foundation. Without it, nothing else holds. But once you have steady fuel coursing through your body, the next step is to protect the organ that defines how clearly you think, how balanced you feel, and how deeply you connect with life itself. That organ is your brain, and the fruit that safeguards it is as small as it is powerful. Let's move forward and talk about blueberries, the brain and vitality protector every man over 60 should know about. 4. Blueberries, the brain and vitality protector. I will never forget a conversation I had with Richard, a 69-year-old retired engineer from Seattle. He came into my office not because of pain or weakness, but because he felt something slipping away that he could not explain. "Doctor," he said, "I feel foggy. I can't remember details the way I used to. My focus is fading, and I'm starting to worry that this is just the beginning of decline." His voice was steady, but I could hear the fear behind it. It wasn't just about memory, it was about identity. For many men, losing physical strength is one thing, but losing sharpness of mind feels like losing the very essence of who they are. And this is exactly why I always talk about blueberries. Blueberries may be small, but they are nothing short of extraordinary when it comes to protecting the brain and preserving vitality. They are packed with compounds called anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that cross into the brain and guard your neurons from the wear and tear of time. After 60, oxidative stress and inflammation begin to chip away at brain health, slowly eroding memory, mood, and clarity. Blueberries fight back against this erosion, repairing damage, calming inflammation, and fueling the very cells that help you think, remember, and connect. For men like Richard, this was not just science, it was hope. I suggested he add a cup of blueberries to his breakfast each day, whether fresh, frozen, or blended into a smoothie. Within a few weeks, Richard returned with a smile. "I don't know how to explain it," he told me. "I just feel sharper. My wife says I'm more present in our conversations. I don't forget where I put things as often. I feel like my mind woke up again." That is the beauty of this fruit. It doesn't just preserve brain function, it restores confidence. When your mind feels clear, your spirit feels lighter, and suddenly life seems brighter again. Science strongly supports what Richard experienced. A study from Tufts University followed older adults who consumed blueberries daily. After just 12 weeks, their memory improved, their learning ability sharpened, and even their balance and coordination showed measurable gains. Think about that. 12 weeks of a simple, daily habit leading to sharper thinking and steadier steps. For men in their 60s and 70s, that kind of change is life-altering. It means staying independent, staying confident, and staying connected to the people and passions that matter most. But the benefits of blueberries don't stop with the brain. They also protect the heart and support circulation, two pillars of male vitality. By reducing blood pressure and calming arterial inflammation, they reinforce the very system that fuels both your energy and your performance. This is why I see blueberries not just as a brain food, but as a vitality food. They link your mind and body together, ensuring that both stay strong and resilient as you age. What I love about blueberries is their simplicity. They are sweet, satisfying, and versatile. You can toss them on cereal, blend them into yogurt, or simply eat them by the handful. They require no special preparation, yet their impact is profound. For men who worry about fading memory, mood swings, or creeping anxiety, this fruit offers reassurance that decline is not inevitable. There are choices you can make, simple choices that help your brain stay sharp and your life stay full. When I think of Richard now, I think of the relief in his voice when he realized he wasn't destined to lose himself. That clarity, that confidence, is available to every man willing to make this habit part of his daily rhythm. Blueberries protect the brain, they protect vitality, and they help you stay truly present in your own life. But as powerful as they are for the mind, there is another fruit that works wonders for performance in a very different way. It is refreshing, sweet, and often associated with summer, yet hidden within it is a natural compound that rivals the effects of prescription pills. Let me show you why watermelon has earned its reputation as the natural performance fruit, and how it can quietly restore confidence in ways you may not expect. 5. Watermelon, the natural performance fruit. There is something about watermelon that instantly takes men back to a simpler time. The sweetness of summer afternoons, the crisp bite of something refreshing, the memories of youth. But for men over 60, watermelon is more than just nostalgia. It is, in many ways, one of nature's quietest but most powerful tools for restoring performance and vitality. I remember a man named Samuel, 70 years old, a retired mechanic from Texas. He came to see me not because he was ill, but because he had lost confidence. He whispered it to me almost as if he was embarrassed. "Doctor, I just don't feel strong in the bedroom anymore. I don't feel like myself." That kind of vulnerability is something I hear often, and it is nothing to be ashamed of. What Samuel didn't realize is that the answer to his struggle wasn't always in a prescription bottle. Sometimes, it is in something as simple as a slice of fruit. Watermelon contains a compound called citrulline, a natural amino acid that the body converts into arginine, which then boosts nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the molecule that relaxes and opens blood vessels, improving circulation throughout the body, including where men need it most for intimacy. This is the same biological pathway that prescription performance pills rely on. The difference is that watermelon works naturally, gently, without side effects or embarrassment. For Samuel, I suggested adding a cup or two of fresh watermelon to his daily diet. Within weeks, he told me that not only did he feel more energized, but his confidence in intimate moments had quietly returned. He laughed and said, "Doctor, I didn't expect something so simple to make me feel like this again." That is the power of giving your body what it already knows how to use. The science supports what Samuel experienced. Researchers at Texas A&M University studied watermelon and found it had what they called a Viagra-like effect because of its ability to increase nitric oxide and circulation. Imagine that. A fruit most of us associate with summer picnics has the capacity to unlock performance in a way most men thought they had lost forever. And it's not just about intimacy. Improved circulation means improved heart health, better energy, and stronger overall vitality. Every system in your body benefits when your blood flows freely, and watermelon helps make that possible. What I love most about watermelon is how approachable it is. There is no complicated plan, no long preparation. Just cut, serve, and enjoy. It hydrates the body, provides antioxidants like lycopene that protect your heart, and delivers that crucial citrulline to open up your blood vessels. For older men, hydration alone can make a difference in how alert, strong, and steady you feel. Add in the benefits to performance, and you can begin to see why I call watermelon the natural performance fruit. When I think of Samuel now, I think of a man who came into my office carrying the weight of self-doubt, and left weeks later with his shoulders higher and his voice lighter. This transformation isn't about chasing youth, it's about reclaiming dignity, intimacy, and the confidence that every man deserves at any age. Gentlemen, performance is not something you must say goodbye to after 60. With the right choices, with natural support, it can return quietly, steadily, and powerfully. Watermelon is one of those choices. It reminds us that nature has already placed in our hands tools to restore what we thought was gone. But here is where it becomes even more exciting. You've now seen how pomegranate fuels circulation, avocado restores testosterone, banana powers energy, blueberries protect the brain, and watermelon reignites performance. Yet the real magic happens when you don't treat these fruits separately, but when you bring them together. Because when combined, their effects are not just added, they are multiplied. Let me show you what happens when these 5 essential fruits are mixed into a single daily rhythm, and why the results can feel nothing short of transformational. 6. Mixing them together. The power of combination. Over the years, I have watched men try one remedy after another, hoping for quick fixes. They take a supplement for energy, another pill for circulation, and maybe a powder for memory. And when none of it works, they feel discouraged, convinced that decline is inevitable. But I tell them something most people overlook. The body was never meant to run on isolated ingredients. It was designed to thrive on balance, on synergy, on the natural harmony of nutrients working together. That is why the real power of these 5 fruits emerges not when they are eaten alone, but when they are combined into a daily rhythm that speaks to your body on every level. I remember a patient named Richard, a 69-year-old retired engineer who came to me after trying nearly every supplement on the shelf. He had bottles lined up in his kitchen, each one promising to restore his youth. He told me, "Doctor, I feel like I'm swallowing hope in capsules, but nothing changes." I asked him to set aside the bottles for a moment and return to the basics. I suggested that he start a morning routine with pomegranate juice, include half an avocado with his breakfast, have a banana mid-morning, a handful of blueberries in the afternoon, and a slice of watermelon after dinner. Nothing exotic, nothing costly, just a rhythm built from whole foods that his body could recognize and use. 3 weeks later, Richard walked into my office with a different presence. He said, "I didn't just feel better, I felt back, like my body remembered how to work again." That statement has stayed with me because it captures exactly what happens when men combine these fruits. They don't add something foreign or artificial. They unlock something familiar that the body had been missing. Pomegranate floods the arteries with circulation, avocado fuels testosterone, banana steadies energy, blueberries sharpen the mind, and watermelon restores performance. Each one addresses a vital piece of the puzzle, but together they create a foundation where blood, hormones, energy, and brain all reinforce one another. Science explains why this synergy is so powerful. Nitric oxide from pomegranate and watermelon keeps the blood vessels open, which means the nutrients from bananas and blueberries are delivered more efficiently to your cells and brain. The healthy fats and minerals from avocado stabilize hormones, which in turn support stronger energy production and mood. It is like tuning each instrument of an orchestra. Alone, each makes a sound. Together, they create music. Your body, gentlemen, is no different. Another man I treated, Walter, once told me he never realized how much small, consistent actions mattered until he experienced them himself. He said, "Doctor, I thought I needed one big solution, but it turns out what I really needed was the right combination, repeated every single day." That is the secret. Not a miracle, not a shortcut, but daily consistency with the right tools. And the beauty of these fruits is that they are affordable, accessible in any grocery store, and require no complicated preparation. When you mix them into your life, something changes not just physically, but emotionally. You feel stronger in your posture, more confident in your presence, more connected in your relationships. Your body stops working against you and starts working for you again. That is the power of synergy, the quiet storm that builds when you fuel circulation, hormones, energy, mind, and performance all at once. But here is what excites most men when I explain this. They always ask, "Doctor, how long before I feel something?" And the answer may surprise you, because while rebuilding health is a long-term journey, the first signs of change can appear far sooner than you think. In fact, some men notice shifts in as little as 3 days, others by 7, and nearly all by 15. Let me walk you through what happens to your body week by week, so you know exactly what to expect when you commit to these fruits. 7. How long until you notice results? One of the questions I hear most often from men is, "Doctor, how long before I feel a difference?" It's a fair question because when you've been struggling with low energy, weaker erections, or a fading sense of vitality, you want to know when relief will finally come. And here's the truth. While every man's body is unique, The timeline is often faster than most expect when they truly commit. I've seen it in my patients again and again, and even in myself when I adjusted my own diet years ago. For some men, changes begin within just 3 days. It's subtle at first. A little more morning energy, a sense of lightness in the body, even a slightly clearer mood. One man told me, "Doctor, I woke up on the 4th day, and for the first time in months, I didn't feel like I had to drag myself out of bed." That kind of early response comes because the body recognizes what it has been missing. Fresh circulation from pomegranate and watermelon, steady energy from bananas, mental clarity from blueberries, and hormonal stability from avocados. These aren't foreign chemicals. They are the natural signals your body has been waiting for. By the end of the first week, most men notice something deeper. Erections begin to feel stronger, energy no longer crashes in the afternoon, and there's a lift in confidence. I remember a retired teacher, 71 years old, who told me after a week of eating these fruits daily, "It wasn't just physical. I felt like my spirit came back too. I wanted to get up, go out, and do things again." That is the beauty of this approach. It doesn't only change your body, it revives your drive for life itself. Around the 2-week mark, the improvements often become undeniable. Blood pressure may drop a little, cholesterol can shift in the right direction, and performance in the bedroom feels more natural, more reliable. A man who had been embarrassed by failed attempts told me that by day 15, he no longer lived in fear of intimacy. He said, "I didn't need to hope anymore. I trusted my body again." And that is priceless. By 1 month, consistency pays off in a way that surprises many. Not only do erections grow more dependable, but stamina, memory, and emotional stability improve too. Partners often notice before the men themselves do. Wives tell me, "He's smiling more," or "He seems lighter on his feet." That's when you know this is more than a quick fix. It's a turning point. So, how long does it take? The answer is simple. Sooner than you think and longer than you expect. Small changes can appear within days, bigger shifts within weeks, and lasting transformation within months. The key is patience, commitment, and trust in the process. And here is the most important truth I can share with you. Your body has not given up on you. Even after 60, even after years of decline, it still responds when you give it the right tools. These fruits are not just food, they are medicine from nature's hand. If you stay consistent, you will see results. Some sooner, some later, but always in the direction of healing. And when that happens, you'll realize something powerful. Aging doesn't have to mean surrender. It can mean renewal, if only you choose it. That, my friends, is the promise and the invitation. Begin today, stay steady, and watch as your body remembers how strong, vibrant, and alive it was always meant to be. And with that, I want to thank you for walking this journey with me, because your best days are not behind you, they are still waiting ahead.